The 49ers have one of the strongest rosters across the entire NFL, but there's been one question mark on their roster since Kyle Shanahan has arrived at head coach, and that question mark has been the quarterback position. What exactly are they going to do with it? And last year, it looks like they found a solution in Brock Purdy, but that was before he tore his UCL. So right now, the 49ers non-injured quarterbacks are Sam Darnold and Trey Lance. Trey Lance is largely unproven, while Sam Darnold just hasn't lived up to his first round billing. Therefore, it comes as little surprise that the 49ers are looking to trade for a quarterback. Some of those rumors included Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, and now the most recent rumor and report was that the 49ers were looking to trade for Lamar Jackson. And I think that Lamar Jackson would plug in so perfectly to the 49ers offensive system, especially the offense that Kyle Shanahan was trying to run with Trey Lance. With how many runs he was doing, I think Lamar Jackson would actually be a better skill set as that, as he's more of a running type quarterback than Trey Lance probably will be throughout his career. Another thing that the 49ers would get by bringing in Lamar Jackson is a proven quarterback. They always bring in these quarterbacks that have hot stretches and then sign them to big deals or invest fully into them without knowing a lot about them. There's some examples including Jimmy Garoppolo. He won that stretch and then they signed him to a massive deal. Then Trey Lance had one good season in college, traded a bunch to go get him. And the 49ers just plainly haven't been good at evaluating quarterbacks since Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have arrived on the scene. That doesn't mean they're a bad coach or bad GM, because frankly, they have one of the best rosters in the entire NFL, and that goes to them. And it's not saying their quarterback position has been abysmal, they just haven't found the guy to bring them over the top. But by making this trade with the Ravens and bringing Lamar Jackson to San Francisco, it would change everything, because instantly Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have the quarterback position locked down. And with Kyle Shanahan's offense, we understand that's largely effective on the ground. And that's been with mainly Jimmy Garoppolo at the helm, not the most mobile quarterback. If you're able to plug in a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, who can be a real threat with his legs and threaten the whole entire defense, and make him play true 11-on-11 football, the running attack you would see under Lamar Jackson compared to the running attack you saw under Jimmy Garoppolo would look like two separate animals. I mean, Lamar Jackson would make the running game with Jimmy Garoppolo just look amateurish, frankly. And while Kyle Shanahan's a huge part of the offense and the success on the offensive side of the ball, we need to talk about the other playmakers Lamar Jackson would be around. I mean, he would inherit the likes of Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Trent Williams as his blocker, and we also need to talk about Brandon Ayuk, because he's ultimately probably the best wide receiver the 49ers have. You also have some slot wide receivers as guys such as Ray McCloud and Jawan Jennings. So the 49ers offense is fully loaded, and they could probably even pick up a couple more guys in the draft to add to some depth. Lamar Jackson and the offense also wouldn't have to do it all by themselves, as the 49ers were arguably the best defense in the entire NFL last year. I mean, they have Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Charvarius Ward. That unit is stacked. And the 49ers have committed even further into the defense this year by signing Javon Hargrave, who's going to be an absolute game wrecker on the interior of the defensive line, leading the 49ers to be almost unbeatable with Lamar Jackson at the helm. But how likely is it that this deal actually happens? And while this would make the 49ers absolutely unbeatable, I don't understand how the 49ers can make this happen. First off, their cap space is extremely limited, and bringing in a guy like Lamar Jackson, who wants a fully guaranteed deal, probably pushes out Nick Bosa or someone like him. I don't know how you actually make Lamar Jackson a thing to your team without jeopardizing another part of your team, because at the end of the day, Lamar Jackson wants Patrick Mahomes type money, and Patrick Mahomes type money is expensive, so you lose superstars like George Kittle or Nick Bosa. The 49ers also have been known for their quarterback injuries, and Lamar Jackson is kind of getting known for being injured because of the way he plays. I mean, the last 2 years, he's missed like 10 games, and on the 49ers, usually injuries don't improve, usually get worse. The final reason I don't think the 49ers would necessarily trade for Lamar Jackson is because they just gave up a ton for Trey Lance, and they still don't know what he actually is. To trade all that for another quarterback is admitting you failed miserably on Trey Lance and also possibly don't believe in Brock Purdy, who you've said you believe in, the leader of the clubhouse, things like that. Despite the 49ers being unlikely to trade for Lamar Jackson, I still think there's a chance they become unbeatable this season, and that's behind the arm of Brock Purdy. And that's the healthy arm of Brock Purdy. If Brock Purdy is able to get healthy and back to the form he was towards the end of last season, the 49ers are pretty unbeatable. I mean, he was putting up 30 points about a game and really did everything you wanted to see from a franchise quarterback. There's also the benefit that the 49ers just drafted Brock Purdy last season in the 2022 draft. In the last round, he's extremely cheap, and the 49ers are able to keep a relatively strong roster around him. This allows them to bring back players like Nick Bosa. Another added benefit of not signing Lamar Jackson and either starting Trey Lance or Brock Purdy is that Trey Lance and Brock Purdy understand Kyle Shanahan's offense extremely well. I mean, most people understand that Kyle Shanahan's offense takes about a year to 2 years to fully grasp, and players even multiple years into the system keep saying, oh, I learned something new like every time I dive deeper into the playbook. I mean, it's just an extremely complex offense. With all that being said, I do think the 49ers will be the team to beat this year and ultimately take home their 6th Lombardi trophy. But those are just my thoughts on the San Francisco 49ers and Lamar Jackson trade talk situation happening. I would love to hear your thoughts down below. It would also mean a ton if you liked and subscribed to my channel. Thank you guys so much for the support.